Since Ripple and the European Union, or EU, have approved the digital euro program, which will use XRP and Ripple Ledger technology to build a digital euro that would facilitate payments throughout Europe. Europe has recently fixed the price of XRP at more than $30,000. You must now realize that every day the European Union, Europe as a whole, and its nations enable trillions of dollars in value. All of this is now set to start entering the XRP ledger. Again, these are not my words. Rather, they are the words of the European Union's leader and leading chairman, who spoke in public about the development of the digital euro program and how they are working with individuals to implement a digital euro that will make cross-border payments easier throughout the continent. Again, I'll roll the clip in a moment, but I have a lot to cover in today's video because, of course, this directly affects XRP's price, don't you think? When you receive flowing wealth worth trillions of dollars. Lawyers for Ripple have previously sort of stated that the team met with representatives of the European nation's finance ministry, such as Luxembourg. As is already well known, Ripple has tight partnerships with the Central Bank of France, banks in Britain and the United Kingdom, and banks in Ireland, all of which are located in Europe. The digital euro, which is now being developed on the XRP ledger, will be utilized by all of these nations, and all of this is happening at a really crazy time. Just a few days ago, for example, we discussed the rumor that XRP is expected to reach over $8,000 due to trillions of dollars that would be transferred onto the XRP ledger from a new market, the real-world asset market. Additionally, the organizations are currently expanding on the XRP ledger. We now learn that the full digital euro, supported by Europe and the nations that make up the European continent, is coming to pass. Come on, look at this. Since then, the volume of XRP has increased. There are currently around 4.11 billion XRP in total payments. About 295 million yesterday. Clearly, this is a significant expansion, as you might imagine. A lot more transactions and volume have occurred in the past 24 hours. In terms of percentage change, we are discussing a 1,291% increase. Currently, there are roughly 1.7 million ledgers, and the average ledger speed is 3.5 seconds. Therefore, it is anticipated that during the course of the next few hours, there will be another breakthrough, a significant one that will bring the price of XRP back up to $3.50 and possibly start to soar above $5. This is an hour once more. We're not discussing days here. Here, we're actually discussing hours. What a fantastic way to begin this movie by giving you all a ton of free XRP so you can build up a beautiful, juicy bag without spending any money at all. Yes, we have partnered with Apple to provide up to $100 to each and every viewer of today's film. After that, you can get a lovely bag of XRP. And since XRP's breakout could occur at any moment, now is the perfect time to get it. In fact, it's extremely close. You only need to like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel using your post notifications, and above all, register on Apple using my link in the description, and complete a transaction which might be for any amount. But you will receive the hefty incentive as long as you complete a transaction. Now, $30,000 per XRP is not shocking when you consider it. In actuality, the number 30,000 per XRP has been brought up before. Instead, it has existed for many years. In fact, Jimmy Valla, the managing director of Bill Hill Capital, has publicly expressed his belief that, following regulation and when it is established as the warehouse bridge currency, XRP may be worth between $10,000 and $30,000. That is $35,000. I will actually roll the slip for you. However, he later changed his mind and claimed that, with widespread adoption around the world, an ex-wife's price could actually reach $50,000. Once more, you must realize that the $30,000 price is not new and that, when you do the math, the calculations, and the amount of money that the ex-wife's ledger will ultimately facilitate, it makes perfect sense because it captures many of the industrial markets, such as the real estate market, the payment industry, and the real estate asset industry. That could be fixed in a number of ways, but it might also be fixed by enacting regulations. But we do know it's coming, don't we? I believe that the global situation is so dire that we will require a solution. So when I say soon, I would be shocked if we were actually still involved in the SEC litigation a quarter later. prefer an XRP as soon as possible for liquidity reasons. The question then becomes, okay, so we've solved it magically. What happens to the price? Projecting that it is a double-digit number is simple. As a result, I believe it instantly rises to $10 or even $20. The wild card, in my opinion, is that a deal between governments and central banks may be reached to essentially make XRP the world's bridge currency and a neutral asset that can be exchanged between them to convert one form of fiat to another. That brings us full round to our earlier discussion, huh? It must sort of pay for everything. Additionally, I believe you're looking at a range that XRP would agree to. This would therefore occur instantly, with each coin costing between $10,000 and $35,000. And, our lives may be the same, or they may be different. I'm not sure. It might be a bit different. Returning to our starting point, let's look at the data and specifics of 30,000 projects, as well as the fact that the European Union and numerous other governments, organizations, and nations are expanding upon the XRP ledger. And in actuality, this has been growing for some time. Following the significant XRP court victory, a report was published back in 2023 that verified that more than 4,000 banks were in fact set up to adopt Ripple. And by 2025, that figure is most likely far higher, at over 6,000 banks planning to utilize or starting to use XRP globally. One crucial point, though, is that XRP may be used to settle all of the US debt through the federal payment system. Additionally, there's a number that everyone in the community, including myself, keeps seeing. $650 trillion and $654.39 trillion, respectively. It will soon be added to the XRP ledger. And now, this is truly enormous. Imagine receiving so much money that it causes a supply shock for XRP, and more significantly, for the project on the XRP ledger that will enable that $654 trillion. And that's precisely what we're discussing today. And it's all about genuine FE. As you can see, RayFi is doing something enormous by combining the XRP ledger and actual token technology to unleash the $654.39 trillion real estate sector. On the XRP ledger, real tokens were also created. You're referring to the complete XRP ledger. This is significant not only because RayFi has already started to open up a big new business, but also because they will do so. RayFi has formally unlocked more than $2 billion worth of properties, including more than 10,000 properties in the past few weeks. I sincerely hope you all found it entertaining. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Until we meet again, I'll see you all soon.